My name's Ryan Pineda. I've bought and sold over $100 million worth of real estate, and I've started multiple 7- and 8-figure businesses. But let's pretend I've got no properties, no money, no resources, no connections. How would I start today, right now? Because if we're being honest, it is completely different today than when I got into the game back in 2010 as a realtor and when I started flipping houses in 2015. Today, we've got higher interest rates, we've got AI, we've got really high prices. There's so many different tools available. There's so much information available. And the problem with abundance is that it becomes hard to choose. And so what I see from most real estate investors is they make no choice at all and therefore do nothing. So now let's simplify the process for exactly what you should do step by step. Step one is you need to find money. Before you ever do anything, you're going to need some kind of capital to execute on building your real estate business. Obviously, you need money to actually buy a house, right? Houses don't just come free. You could buy houses without using your own money, but it's only because you found somebody else's money. But the problem becomes, how do you even learn to find somebody else's money? How do you get them to trust you and all of those things? So in step one of this right now, I more so recommend just getting some startup capital, and the best way to do that is through credit cards. This is exactly how I got started in 2015. My wife and I didn't have a lot of money, and so I applied for credit cards in her name and my name. In total, we were able to get $50,000 worth of credit between existing credit and new credit cards that we applied for. And with that, I ended up doing a balance transfer to get all of that in cash so that I had a down payment to buy my very first house flip. Now, here's the cool part. Some of the things I'm going to share with you in the next steps won't require you to do a balance transfer. You can actually use the credit card to get started in the business and do some proper things for your setup. But the point is, you got to have some kind of startup capital to be successful in this business. Because a lot of the things that people try to do for free never really work. You end up spinning your wheels, running around, trying to go to all these different sources and try to get sweat equity for leads and for mentorship and all this stuff. And quite frankly, you'd be better off just figuring out how to get a credit card and fast track it to get the information you need, to get the leads you need, to get the mentor you need, etc. Because remember, either way, you're going to spend money in this business. You're going to have to invest to buy homes. You're going to have to invest to get leads. You're going to have to invest to get the right softwares to set up your business. Everything requires money. And so if you don't have money, figure out how to get money. The easiest way is with a credit card. Now, if you can't get a lot of credit, then my next step is go and get money from a friend or a family member, have them seed your business. I don't think you need more than $10,000 to get this thing rolling with the steps I'm gonna give you. And there's lots of people in the world who have $10,000. I would just give them a return that is worthwhile. I might say, hey, if you're able to fund my business, I'll pay you back 2 times what you gave me or 3 times what you gave me. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but whenever I start doing deals, I'll pay you back what you gave me up to $20,000, $30,000, or whatever the case is. You got to make the return worth it because they're taking a risky bet betting on you if you've never been successful at this. So it's not like you can be like, yeah, I'll give you 5% or 10% on your money. It's like, no, you're going to have to give them like 100% or 200% because it's a risky bet starting something from brand new. So anyways, what I would do right now if I had nothing is I'd go apply for every credit card under the sun, try to get access to capital, and I'd start going and talking to friends and family who had capital, who trust me, who know me, and see if they're willing to help me fund this business. Step 2 is that you've got to learn the game fast. Now, back in the day when I first got started, there wasn't that many resources available. Really, the best way that I learned was going and reading books and going to the forums on BiggerPockets. That was it. There really was not much else at that time. Instagram hadn't blown up. There was no TikTok. YouTube didn't have videos like this going on all the time. Like, information was very, very scarce. Today, I actually think we have the opposite problem. We have YouTube with whole amounts of information. I mean, you could go watch my videos from 5 years ago talking about flipping houses. You could go watch anyone else's videos. You can go see new things on Instagram. You can see new things on TikTok. And what I believe has actually happened is because we have this overabundance of information, it creates paralysis analysis. People choose to do nothing with so much information, and so it has the opposite effect. I see so many people who can't even decide what kind of strategy they want to do. They're like, oh, well, I saw this guy talking about Section 8, and this guy was talking about, flipping. This guy was talking about creative finance. This guy's talking about multifamily. What she's talking about Airbnb. Which one do I choose? They all seem so great. I want to go all in at one. And so they end up doing nothing. So here's what I believe. If you want to learn the game fast, just go pick a mentor. Obviously, it's self-serving for me. I have Wealthy Investor, where we've trained thousands of students over the years on how to flip, wholesale, and buy rental properties. We've even taught Airbnb over the years. Like, we've taught a lot of people. But even if you don't go with us at Wealthy Investor, I still think you are far better off getting education, getting a mentor, somebody who can work with you one-on-one so that they can consolidate all of this information that you are trying to decipher through. So that way you don't have to watch YouTube for a year before you ever make a move, before you ever make a decision. You can actually just go straight into a program, learn it step by step, and go get a deal in the next 30 days. We have students who get deals within 30 days all the time. That never happens from YouTube University or reading books or any of these things. It only happens in mentorship. And if I knew absolutely nothing and I had to start from zero, I would absolutely be joining mentorship, because I know I need my contracts, I need my scripts, I need somebody to walk me through the deals, I need hand-holding, I don't know anything, I need to go through the courses fast, I need a proven system, I need to learn from somebody who's actually doing it right now. Because here's the other problem. What you see on YouTube today could be a video from 2 years ago, and now it's no longer relevant. You know, I wrote my very first book, Flip Your Future, back in 2018. And even though most of the principles are still true today, there's still a lot of things in there that are now outdated that don't really work that great today. So that's coming from an author who wrote a book that has sold thousands and thousands of copies. So I would say pick a mentor. That way you can get speed and you can get clarity. And plus, here's the other part of it. There's a saying that those who pay attention. And so if you're just watching YouTube University and you have nothing to lose other than you're just watching, I would say this isn't even learning for you. This is just entertainment. If you watch this video and you do nothing with it, you're just simply being entertained. You're not learning. But the moment you pay for something, you now have skin in the game, and you are far more likely to take action with that. And to also give context, I mean, we have programs at Wealthy Investor for $1,000 a month, where we will literally work with you one-on-one. We will give you all the softwares you need. We'll give you leads to start working. We'll literally give you everything you need. So back to even the first step of raising money and getting credit and getting a family member, whatever. We're not talking about this crazy amount of money for $1,000 a month or whatever the case is. And if you're like, well, Ryan, you know, $1,000 a month is a lot, it's not. I mean, how are you going to buy a piece of real estate if you think $1,000 a month is a lot? Your mortgage is going to cost you way more than $1,000 a month. Your down payment on that house is going to be tens of thousands, maybe even six figures. You're going to have to go qualify for a loan for a property that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So no, $1,000 a month is not a lot. Now let's move on to the next step, which is number 3, pick the right path. So this is also why a mentor is really important, because a mentor will help you stay focused on whatever path that you're going to choose. At Wealthy Investor, it's very simple for how we teach what path to take. If you are broke, or you're not making enough money and you're trying to replace your job, you're trying to replace your income, the path is very clear. You're either wholesaling or flipping. That is the only way that you're going to replace your active income. Now for me, because in this exercise, I'm saying that I'm starting from zero, I have no money, I have no job, I have nothing, I know I'm going to have to flip or wholesale. Now on the other hand, if you did have money and you did have a good job, but you hadn't done any deals yet, and you're like, look, dude, I want to keep my job. I'm making great money. I could live off that. I'm also saving some money. Well, if that's the case, then you could try to go the more passive route and start buying rentals right now today. You go make your active income from your job, and then you take some of that income and you start buying rentals every single year. I think it's a great strategy. I have no problem with that strategy, especially if you're making 6 figures or multiple 6 figures in your job and you don't want to quit. But if you're not making that and you don't like your job, you have to flip or wholesale. You can't even buy rentals right now. And here's the biggest thing I want to tell that group of people, because I work with them a lot. If you're not currently making a lot of money and you're like, well, Ryan, you know, everyone says building long-term wealth through rentals is the way. I say, yeah, it can build long-term wealth. There's no doubt about it. It gets you tax write-offs. There's appreciation. You know, the cash flow sucks with the interest rates and everything today, but yeah, sure, it can get you that. But here's the caveat. If you don't make a lot of money right now, and you think rentals are going to be your thing, I think rentals are the riskiest thing you can do instead. Number one, if you have any kind of repair or any kind of problem or any kind of vacancy or eviction or something unknown happens, you're going to now come out of pocket thousands of dollars. And if you don't make active income, guess what? You're screwed. you're going to go into foreclosure. That property's not going to be able to be rented because it's not in livable condition. Your tenants are going to get mad because you can't afford to fix the thing. It is a recipe for disaster to have a rental property when your active income is not in order. So yes, rentals will build you long-term wealth over time if you have the money to maintain them for a long period of time, because you can't just count on the tenant to do that for you, because guess what? Tenants come and go. Things break. You have to have money and reserves from another source beyond the rental. So for us, as far as the path goes, I love teaching wholesaling because it requires the least amount of money, it has the least amount of risk, and it has extremely high upside without having to take on debt or deal with contractors. The other thing I love about wholesaling is that it teaches you how to find great deals, which is the backbone of every single real estate deal, period. If I learn how to find great deals as a wholesaler, I can take down that same deal and flip it myself as a flipper and make more money. I could also just take down the deal and live in it as a primary residence. I could also just take down that deal and buy it and keep it as a rental. My skills as a wholesaler who finds deals have served me in every aspect of my real estate journey the last 15 years. So choose your path based on your situation. Now, let's hop into step 4, which is you now have to generate leads. You can't get deals unless you have leads. So you got to figure out, hey, how am I going to find deals? What am I going to do? Am I going to go try and door knock? Am I going to go call foreclosures? Am I going to go text people? Am I going to go look on the MLS? Am I going to start running ads and doing inbound marketing? Am I going to send direct mail? Am I going to run a TV commercial? Am I just going to call agents? Am I going to network everywhere? What am I going to do? This is where a lot of people trip up because, once again, there's lots of decisions to be made, and most people have no real marketing experience when they get into this business. And guess what? Leads are probably the most important thing that you can do, because if you got no leads, you ain't closing any deals. And if you don't get enough at bats, your sales skills never get better. And so for me, when I'm dealing with new people, I always want to make sure that they have enough leads, because I know they're going to make mistakes and I know they need repetitions to get better. You know, when I first started in 2015 on the investing side, pretty much all the deals I got were on the MLS. I just mastered one strategy where I learned how to find deals off the MLS, and it served me really well. Eventually, I then started networking with other wholesalers and agents, and they started sending me deals too. Around 2018, I got into direct-to-seller marketing, where you cut all of those people out and you just go directly to the seller. And we did everything. I mean, we did cold calling, we did texting, we got into TV commercials. Today, pretty much everything we do on the direct-to-seller side are Facebook ads. I love Facebook ads because they give me the cheapest inbound leads possible. Not a lot of people know how to do them properly, and so we have a really good system for getting cheap, highly qualified leads through Facebook. Now, if I was starting from zero, how would I go about playing this? Well, if I did step 1 and I got some money, a wealthy investor, quick plug, obviously I'm biased, but part of your $1,000 a month, you get inbound Facebook leads. And so I would just simply join Wealthy Investor. Go there at wealthyinvestor.com, join the rookie program. If you want more leads, join the All-Star program. Go get a ton of leads from us where we do all the work. You don't even have to learn marketing. You don't even have to think about it. You don't have to make any cold calls. You don't got to knock any doors. We'll just literally give you the leads every month as part of being in the program. This is what pretty much every single one of our students do at this point. They don't have to figure out what lists to call. They don't have to figure out what doors they want to knock. They don't have to hire virtual assistants to do this anymore. We just give them inbound motivated seller leads every single month on demand. And then as their business grows, we can give them more leads. So personally, I would just join Wealthy Investor if I was pretending that I personally had nothing and I knew nothing and everything else, because I'm gonna get the mentor, I'm gonna get the leads and all that stuff. Now, if I didn't want to join Wealthy Investor and I wanted to look at alternatives, personally, what I would probably do is I would try to flip houses and go network like crazy and find deals off the MLS. I think those are great strategies if you don't want to spend money on marketing and all that. The only caveat is they are much harder to wholesale because there's a middleman involved. If there's a property on the MLS, it's already got an agent. If a wholesaler is sending you a deal, there's already a wholesaler. Doesn't mean you can't make money still in wholesale. You absolutely can. People do. But your fees are generally going to be smaller and it's harder. If you are able to flip those homes, you're definitely going to open yourself up to a lot more deals that you can now take down. This is basically what I was doing in 2015 to 2017. I was just looking on the MLS, I was networking like crazy, and I was able to buy about 70 homes as a flipper. And so I'd say if you don't really want to do the marketing side of it and everything else, then I would probably focus my efforts on becoming a flipper and generating leads in the free way. ways, aka the MLS and networking. But for me personally, knowing what I know today, I'm just joining Wealthy Investor and getting leads directly. Now, this leads into step 5, which is finding the right network. So obviously you can't do deals alone, right? If you're wholesaling, you're gonna need buyers. If you are flipping, you're gonna need lenders and referrals and contractors. If you're gonna try and buy rentals, you need somebody to send you deals. So joining the right network is really important. Once again, shameless plug, but Wealthy Investor is a community. We've got over 1,000 people in the community, people who are doing deals all over the country. So it's a great community to be around other people who are doing deals. But I would also say join free groups where you can, join local meetups, get around other high-level networking opportunities. You know, for me, I love golf. And so in this fake example, I didn't lose my golf skills. I would try to get out on the golf course and go meet people who golf because I know that they have money, they run businesses, and they could be partners for me on all of my real estate deals. It's actually why I started another one of my businesses called Mastermind 19. That's what this 19 stands for. It's for 7, 8, and 9-figure business owners who want to go on bucket list golf trips, mastermind together, and everything else. That type of person is probably not wholesaling. They're busy running their business. They're probably going to just want to partner with me on deals that I do because they don't want to learn how to go do all the stuff I just told you. They're like, Ryan, just do it for me. I'm busy making active income in my business. I'll lend you the money to buy your deals. And that's what you should be thinking too. Get around other rich people, get around the right network so that you can raise capital for your deals, so you can get deals sent to you, and so that you can sell your deals. One caveat I'll add about this once again is that anytime you join a free group, remember, it's free. By default, anything that's free attracts lower quality people. Anything that's paid attracts higher quality people. So part of getting a mentor and joining the right community is that, hey, by paying, I get around people who have also paid, therefore are probably higher likelihood doing deals and probably have more money than somebody who paid nothing and anyone can join. There's no barrier to entry. The same concept applies for golf groups. There's different country clubs that cost a couple $1,000s to join. There's other country clubs that cost $100,000 to join. They even got country clubs that cost $1 million to join. I'm pretty certain if I join the $1 million country club, the quality of people in that is going to be a lot higher than even the 100,000. My point is, you get what you pay for when it comes to networks. And honestly, most high-level people don't want to join free stuff because they don't think it's valuable because it doesn't have a value. It's free. If I join something for $100,000, I'm like, okay, well, I already know that this probably has a lot of value, and the people who are in this have also paid that, therefore, they have to be doing good. Once I find the right network, step 6 is now I just got to start executing. So at this point, I've got knowledge, I've got leads, I've got access to capital, I've got people that are sending me deals, I've got people that I can buy deals from, I've got, investors. At this point, it's just execution. You've gotten past all of the different hard parts that a lot of people struggle with, which is paralysis analysis, shiny object syndrome, not knowing anything, not having access to capital. Any one of those things will stop you from doing real estate deals. But if you've gotten to this point, you have every tool that you need to succeed. The only thing stopping you is just you executing. So put in the work every day, start executing, and you'll get deals. It's really that simple. A lot of times we overcomplicate this business. We're like, are we doing it right? Did I say the right thing? Should I have done this differently? It's like, if you just put in a ton of volume, you'll win. It's really that simple. Which leads me into step 7. Once you start executing, then you go into scale. Scale is just doing more of what already works. So if I've got this system in place for wholesaling and I'm getting leads from Wealthy Investor, or I'm getting leads from whatever source and it's working, now I just got to spend more money on more leads and I close more deals. What eventually ends up happening is you start to get so many leads that you can no longer handle them. So you know what? You start to hire people for the first time. You start to train people to do the sales for you. Eventually, deals start closing that you never even saw happen. 98% of the deals that we've done in the last 4 years, I have no idea about. I never talked to the seller. I never talked to the buyer. They just came through as a transaction in my business because we've reached this stage after being in this business for over a decade. And so scale is a lot of fun because you start to gain your time back, plus you get to make more money, but it just requires you to learn new skills of hiring people, training people, having enough trust in people so that you can delegate properly, all that good stuff. But anyways, that's exactly what I would do if I had nothing starting over right now at this very moment. So if that's you, follow the steps. You're going to do great. Like I said, we'd love to help you at Wealthy Investor. You can just click the link below and we'll make sure that we do that. But other than that, go get that first deal. I'll see you on the next video.